Hey everyone, so today we're going to discuss integrating Python with Notion to manage a basic BIM execution plan. And I think this is kind of a cool, practical way to automate certain tasks. Um, and there's certainly room to expand this since we're using Python. There's just so many other things we can do with this. All right, so before we get started, a brief explanation of a BIM execution plan. It's essentially a blueprint for BIM project management, so detailing how BIM information is delivered. It has all sorts of other information. There's a lot of good courses and articles out there on the web, but something I like to keep in mind when I'm thinking of a BIM execution plan is it has the word plan in it. It's a planning document, so it's meant to help you work on the project. It's meant to help guide you along the project. It's meant to be a useful, helpful document. And so in this example, we're keeping it pretty basic. And so we're inputting just a few project details. And I think the real value of showing this is the automation potential. And what I'm going to kind of highlight is this is basic, but can be taken pretty far depending on what you're doing. If you're interacting or working with other APIs, you could possibly connect into those and build a really full connected BIM execution plan that's connected to, say, BIM 360 or another data source, and all integrated and live and working together with your other documents and your other tools. All right, so before we look at the Python piece of it, we need to create our integration, which is really easy to do, and then we need to add that integration to the page that we want to create our BIM execution plan on, which is going to be this one here. And I've already got an example of one here. If we click on this page, we'll see it has a project name and then project information, and under there we've got four different things: project name, the Revit version, links, and then team member. So pretty basic. But like I said before, you could really add to this and shape it into anything you want. All right, so I'm going to go back a page and we're going to create that integration. And it's really easy to do. If you have Notion open, you can click on Settings and Members. And then up at the top, there's My Connections. And then down at the bottom, there's Develop or Manage Integrations. If you click on that, this will open. This BIM planning one is the one that we're going to use in this example, but they're really easy to create. So if I go over here and click on this, all I have to do is put a name. So in this case, I'm going to put test 1, and then that's it. We're just going to submit it. And then the secret is the important thing you need to remember. So in the Python script, that it knows when it's interacting with the Notion API what application to use, because that application or that integration has access to certain pages. And then the second thing is you need the page ID, which I'll show you that in a second. So if we jump back over to our Notion page, close this out, over here to the right, the three dots, if you click on that, this is where you would add your integrations. And if we wanted to add a new one, we can search it. Now, I do find that it does take a minute sometimes. I'm going to refresh this page just to see if this will make it show up any quicker. But I have found that it does take a second. And yeah, so the refresh did it, and all you have to do to add it is just click on it and say confirm. And now that integration has access to this page. So if we want to create new pages, like our BIM execution plans, then they will be added here, like this one here that you see. All right, now, if you create the integration, the secret needs to be used in the Python script, and then Python needs to know what page also, because it's going to look at the integration, and then it's going to find the page ID that you want to use, because you can add these integrations to multiple pages. And the ID is pretty easy. If you have the the Notion page open in a browser, you can just go up here and grab it. It's just these characters at the end here. Yours are going to be different. And then also you can, I think, grab it if you have the desktop app by just creating a shareable link. I haven't tried that yet, but it's pretty easy. If you just open it in the browser, you can see it right there. All right, so now with all of that, we'll jump into into Jupyter Notebook and actually look at the code. All right, so this is the Jupyter Notebook, and I will share this this code here, excluding the secret and the page ID, and you'll be able to just download it from GitHub and use it if you want. But it's pretty simple. The only thing I kind of struggled with, and I'm still learning, is the different payloads and stuff you can send to the Notion pages. I had some problems with it, and I just kept running into errors, and so eventually I just created this paragraph and then just added everything, all the project information, just in that one payload, and then, or that one paragraph. And so the two big things, we've got the secret, and that's the Notion API key, so that's right here. And I've actually got it as a variable because it's down at the bottom so that I don't share that accidentally. And then I've got the page ID. So again, if we just jump back, this is the integrations. If you click on your integration, you'll find the secret. You can just copy that. And then the page ID, so this is the page we have the integration on, and then the page ID is going to be up there in the link. So with those two, Notion knows kind of what to connect into and all of that. And then the other piece of this is the input. So when I run this code, it's going to ask me for the different inputs. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. So Shift Enter, and then it's going to prompt me this. The first one's going to be the project name. And so in this case, we can call it the project. The BIM project. All right, and then we're going to say 2024, and then our links, we're going to use the BIM Coordinator page. And these are comma separated. We'll go to the other one. All right. Okay, now we're going to do team members. And those are comma separated too. And then we can see it successfully posted the data. So now if we go back to the page, we should see a new one. So there it is, the BIM project. Now if we click on that, we'll get our project information and then all of the stuff with it. So the project name, Revit version, here's our links. So these could be links to like BIM 360 or whatever, and then the team members for that project. What's cool about Notion too, and this is what I couldn't figure out before making this video, is like they've got databases and all these different pages and templates and stuff. And so I think you can create some really cool things. Now, I haven't done a ton of stuff with the API yet, but I do have a link here, and I will share this page below in the description. You'll find a link along with the GitHub link. But this page here, which is the API documentation, has just a lot of stuff. And this is what I used to just kind of figure all this out. Now, I did mess around with some like third-party libraries that were for Notion and Python, but they were, I think, written before this like official API was made by Notion. I'm not 100% sure, but I had some trouble getting those to work correctly. I actually started with those, and then I moved over to the Notion API because I wasn't actually aware of it at the time. And then I got things working pretty quickly. So I don't know much about this API, but I at least got that piece of it. I'm going to still mess around with it, but this documentation was pretty helpful, and it'll be in that Notion link, and I'll try to remember to put that in the description as well. But yeah, so that's the integration there. I wanted to do one extra step here, which was, if we jump back to the page, we'll go into this here. I wanted to add an embedded link into this Notion page from Speckle. So if we go over here, I've actually got one already open. If you haven't used Speckle, I recommend just doing a quick Google search for it. It's a really cool open source tool. Definitely worth adding to your tool set if you're not already using it. So to create a shareable embedded link, it's pretty easy. All you have to do is go over here, click on this, and then I think we need to turn on link sharing, and then it's right here. So that's been copied. Now if I jump back over here, I should be able to search for embed. Yep. And then we can just paste the link in there and then embed the link. And then in a second, we should see the model. We click that play button, which will load that model so we can actually interact with it. So boom, like that's super cool. You know, we've got Python talking to Notion, and we could connect that Python into tools like Speckle or into BIM 360 and have this really cool interactive like BIM execution plan that could really be helpful for a lot of team members. A lot of times BIM execution plans are like filled out and then nobody looks at them again. Like this here could be turned into a really useful planning document. We've got Notion there with an actual interactive model that's embedded in there. I mean, that's just really cool with, you know, information related to the project. So I'm going to keep messing with Notion, keep trying to learn things and how to use it and work with that API. But I would love to know if you guys are using similar tools or workflows. And yeah, that's really all I've got for this this video. And if you like it, you know, share, comment, like the video, and thanks a lot for watching, and I will see you in the next one.